Guys, today we're going to be making a card using our gorgeous lead poinsettia die from Spellbinders, and I really like this, and it actually does come where you can get these just right stamps that will fit with it, so I may be using these as well. It just depends upon the embossing effect that I get with these, because I'm actually going to be cutting my poinsettias out using this gorgeous felt. So I'm really looking forward to doing that because I think it's going to look really cool. So, but at the moment we don't need to do these. We'll come back to those in a minute, so we'll put them to one side. So let me just show you what I've been doing. So we did a little bit of preparation first. So the first thing that I did was I took this white cardstock, it's absolutely pure white cardstock, and I scored and folded it in half. I then took another piece of the white cardstock, exactly the same. I cut it in half to create two pieces of A5 white cardstock, and then I cut those down to take them in by 1/4 inch on all of these sides to give my matting. On the first piece of the white cardstock, I took a piece of red mirror card, which I'd taken down 1/8 of an inch from my main piece of A5 card. So we've got 1/8 of an inch down to get my red mirror board, and then from the edge here, this is 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch down from the red mirror, however you want to look at it. I'm just taking down all my layers by 1/8 of an inch basically. So I've already done that and stuck that down onto my layer here, but I haven't done any more with that because we're going to be working with that layer before we put it on our card base. So just popping that to one side for the moment, but you can see how lovely that red mirror looks. I'll show you the inside. So I then took my white, a second piece of white cardstock that I'd cut down by 1/4 inch, and I tried to punch into it using a Martha Stewart punch. Didn't work. Too heavier cardstock wouldn't do it, not a chance. But it did leave some nice, it left some little marks in it. So I then took my EK Success punch, and it was this beautiful one, and I cut a border along the edge. And I have to say, thumbs up EK Success, because that was a brilliant result. It cut through like butter, absolutely fabulous, really impressed. I've used obviously the EK Success before, but I hadn't used it on such heavy cardstock, so really impressed with that. I then took some of the spare red mirror board and matted that behind these holes here, so where you can see the silver, that became the red mirror board. And then I took another piece of red mirror board and put it on the outside on top of our white cardstock, which I'll show you in a minute, to cover up the little marks that our Martha Stewart left behind. And this was my result. Now it's I think a really effective look. I think it looks really festive and pretty, and I love the way that that comes through. I probably wouldn't necessarily have thought to put that there had I not got the marks, but I actually quite like the look. I liked it without and I liked it with. We will at some point use that stamp set and put a sentiment there, but I will only get to that when I know, because I want to hopefully put a sentiment on the outside. So you probably want something like Merry Christmas on the outside and then have a wonderful holiday or something, you know, whatever on the inside. But I need to make sure the pairing works, so I'm not going to stamp the inside until I've done the outside. Okay, so that's where I've prepped to, so that we're all kind of got the boring bits out the way. And the next thing really is the actual cutting, because I've got some, the reason I haven't stuck this layer down is I've got some gorgeous tulle, and I want to use that instead of ribbon. I think, as I say, the next thing we need to do is cut out our poinsettia and start creating that. Okay, so I've got a couple of shades of red, which I'm hoping you can pick up on here. So I'm going to use those on my different leaves, because we've got a couple of different shapes here. So we've got 4 actual ones to make up our layer, and then obviously green for my leaf here. And again with that we've got a couple of shades of the green as well. Plus we've got some black, which I actually thought I may use for these little berries. I know they wouldn't be black, but I just think it might be a nice accent. So okay, so that's one piece, and you can see these are the two sort of alternate sizes here. Then we're going to put our darker red down, which really doesn't look a lot different on the cameras from where I can see through the little viewfinder, but it's a shade darker. It's not like hugely darker. Then I've got a little bit of washi tape here, which I'm just going to use just to stick my little poinsettias down, and also make sure then that they don't move anywhere. Okay, so now we're going to take the base plate, and you could also, by the way, you could put your magnetic plate in here, and then let me just turn that over so we've got our base plate the right way up, as it were. And then we're just going to pop this through the machine, and then just very carefully pull that down so that the cut sides are okay. So let's just see if this is going to work. I really don't know. So we've got our pink embossing plate, we've put our tan mat down, then our pink embossing plate, that's the pale pink B embossing plate. Okay, so now let's just see if it's actually embossed. It has a little bit actually, but I don't know if you can just catch, it has just done a little embossing. Okay, so I finished cutting those out. I recut these red ones, these paler red ones, so I ripped it, and I think that you'll agree, you can see even there on the camera that the embossing was a lot better on that. Now I've got two greens in here, but I'm going to stick with the darker green. I don't think the paler green is really what I'm after. So I'm going to just cut this piece in half, and then I'm just going to keep making the leaves. And then I've got my black here, and I'm just going to snip a little bit of the corner, literally just a tiny piece like that, and I'm just going to pop that in there as well. So just stick that down there, take my leaf, and then we're going to just start to try and get as many as we can. Probably don't need that many actually, I'm just going to probably do 3 or 4, something like that. And anyway, then put those through. Okay, so I'll cut these out and I'll be back with you once that's done. Okay, so you can see here, and actually I don't know if you can see the embossing come out on that, but I actually didn't run that through on the embossing. The felt was so receptive, it was the complete opposite to what I thought. I actually did not need to emboss my leaves at all. So I've now got a whole collection of my red poinsettia leaves in a couple of shades and 3 little green leaves, so that's all sorted. So now what I need to do is start putting the front of the card together, so making sure it's the right way up, so that I can then put my poinsettia on. So I think now, having seen it, I am definitely wanting to go for the red tulle. So I am going to first just take my scissors and cut this to length and then in half. So I want about that much. So just cut a piece off, and then I want to actually cut it down the middle because it's just a little bit too wide. As you can see, when you put it like that, it's really wide. You want it a reasonable width because you want it to bunch up and look pretty, but you don't want it looking like ridiculously thick. And then just grab it and kind of just concertina it together, and then you can put it behind. Now so I'm going to actually do that. So I'm going to take my tape pen and just stick a little bit of adhesive on the back there. Pop this down about here, I would say. And then that needs just the edges trimming off. where it just went over the edges very slightly, like so. And then I'm going to take this, then we're going to take that and we're going to just get some sticky tape. I'm going to actually shorten that a little bit more now because you don't want it so long that it makes it difficult. Okay, so then we've got that. We're going to hold that down with both fingers. Take my washi tape now. I took a nice big chunk here because I wanted to make sure it stayed put. And then the other side. And stick it down like so. So that's going to hold that in place. And don't forget, we are actually going to be gluing this down, so it's no kind of big deal. So I'm taking that little piece that I cut off and creating a little knot. And I'm just going to like so, and then we can cut that in a moment to a better length, like so. Now those little pieces are rubbish, there's nothing you can do much with those. Okay, so then we've got just like a little bow there. So I think the first thing I need to do in this case then is to actually stick my base onto the card here, because I'm concerned that when it comes down to it, I'm not going to be able to do it because it's going to be so covered with bits and pieces on the front that it's going to be difficult. Okay, so just some blobs on the back there. I don't exactly want height, making sure it's opening the right way. I just don't want the tulle to make it look like it's sticking up, so we're just going to take it like so. That washi tape again. There we go. So that's stuck. Okay, so now I want to stick down my doily, and I want to try and get that down pretty flat if possible, or flatter than it is at the moment, because if I just show you from the side, it's kind of quite high up because of this piece of what's it here. So a piece of what's it, you know what I mean. So I'm just going to take some of my gel glue and I'm going to pop that in the middle here, and then I'm just going to do a tiny dabbles around the edges where hopefully it won't come through too much. It's suddenly gone heavy. Okay, and then we're going to pop that kind of up here. Okay, and I need to push that down. Yeah, Poinsettia next. Okay, so I've got my dark layer. So I'm going to put my leaves in first. So we need kind of like so. I think that's going to look okay. So hard. I hate it at this stage because I always think, oh gosh, it's going to go horribly wrong. It's going to look awful. I've got a bit too much glue gel there, so I'm just going to take advantage of that and put a tiny bit that was on my fingers on the back of each of those leaves, just to help things along a little bit, because that first layer, I just need it to stick where I need it to stick. There we go. then we can then start to push those leaves in a little bit if necessary, just to put those in the right position. And push that one in as well. There we go. Okay, so then we're going to take the next leaf, and again I'm just going to put a tiny dabble of the glue gel on the back of the leaves, literally just a teeny weeny bit. Now I'm not going to put a bit more of a blob, actually, thinking about it, because then they'll give it a bit of height. Okay, so then the next layer, and we did just do a light one, so we want to do a darker colour now. Now this is a smaller set of leaves. My words, I'm so tired, I can't think. It's my own fault. I didn't remember to make a card for my parents. How bad is that? It's just awful. Still, I don't think they can complain at this one, because I think it's going to look really cool. I did need to put some more glue gel in the middle, but I can manage for this one, but I need to do it next time. Now what I'm trying to do, if you can see, is I'm alternating where the position of the leaves are, so each layer the leaves are going between the leaves of the previous layer. So this one I'm starting it off with the leaves there, and then hopefully once I've fiddled with it they will sit, as you can see, in between the previous layer. And then again going in between the leaves from the previous layer, so that you get that alternating look. And on this occasion I don't want to push this one down too much. This next layer again, but I'm not going to use, this was the next layer, but I'm actually going to go to the smallest layer, because I think we're getting just a little bit too tall now. I don't think we need to have any more height. So I'm going to miss out two of the layers that I had. There we go. So that's a lovely poinsettia. And then I'm going to grab my scissors, I think, because I think it'll be easier. And I'm going to put I really should be using something better than this, but I'm just taking these blackberries. By saying that, I think... No, I was going to say, I'm thinking I might put gems in the centre, but I'll probably put some gems over this if I want. I think this will give it just a little bit of something extra. Happy with that. And then I've got some little gems here, so we'll put those, just black gems. There we go. I think that just finishes it off nicely. And then hopefully when and we've got these little pieces left here, and I might put those on the inside, so we'll see, or use them somewhere else because they make like a little baby. I created a little bouquet, for want of a better word, using some gems, some flowers, a little stick pin, actually that is, with a cluster of gems on it, and I think that will look really pretty. So I'm going to take a blob of my glue gel, and I'm going to pop it under the bow here, So that will kind of hide it, and it will also give the opportunity, ow, I keep hitting my head on this light, to stick our feathers and whatnot in position. So put that there. Now this one I want that way because I want it to curve. I'm just pulling that up. I want it to curve over that there. And I'm just going to use a little bit of glue gel behind my feather here, just to, one, raise it up a little bit, but two, to keep it in position, like so. And I'm thinking that the white one there is a bit more upright, and I want that red one over just a little bit more because I think it's just a bit too far over now. There we go. And then we're going to pop our little stick pin in right down the middle here. Again, we're just using the glue gel that's underneath our bow here, but also I am going to take a little bit more and just pop it behind one of these here, just to hold it in place, if I can grab hold of it without all the feathers coming, like so, and that will just hold it down a little bit more firmly. Okay, so I fiddled around with that just a little bit and I'm happy with that now. So I'm just going to stick in the middle here. I'm not going to do the leaves. So I need that one, and then just a small amount again in the middle, that's going to be for our second layer. Just getting the feathers off. And then finally I'm just going to put a little black bead in the centre, so I'm just going to use the tiniest blob of glue gel. So that's our little bit done there. And then the next thing I just need to do is I want to put my sentiment stamped in the corner there, which is going to be fun to do now. So in order to be ensure that I would be able to stamp this without bothering my sets here, I placed it in position and then I picked it up on my stamping block, which means it's pretty close to the edge of my little stamper there. And I used the one that says Poinsettia, and then on the inside I'll stamp a actual greeting. Make sure there's no excess ink on it anywhere. Make sure we're stamping the right way up, because this would be a real bummer now, wouldn't it, to get this wrong. Yay! That was so that's our stamp. And then before, I won't do the inside stamp yet, I'll do the one thing. I'm going to on the outside, and that's to put my red gems in each corner. And then I'm just going to swap out my stamp, and I'm going to grab one that's got a more actual greeting, and I think I'll go for Merry Christmas to You. I'm using black archival ink, and I haven't stamped with these yet. As you saw, it's stamping down beautifully straight away. Then just very carefully lifting that up and popping that the correct way up, and there we go. Merry Christmas to You. It's beautiful stamps there, I have to say, lovely font. Okay, so I'm just putting a piece of paper, a piece of card on the back, because I have a terrible habit of, when I'm doing cards like this, of making the back of my card absolutely disgustingly mucky. So it does two things. One, it covers up the mess, but also it, oh no, that's right. It gives a bit of extra weight to the back of the card, because you've got so much on the front that you need that extra weight on the back of the card to really help it stand up and stay stood up. Okay, so the very last thing I want to do, I believe it's the last thing. Also, sorry, when you've got glue gel and a lot of it, it will tend to curl the card slightly, curve the card slightly. Just while it's drying, every so often just bend it like you saw me do there. Okay, now there's some bits of glue gel on here, so it's going to look a bit messy potentially. So what I thought would be nice is to add a little bit of my Zig pen to my doily for starters, and then a little bit on a few of these leaves, particularly around this centre area, and more towards the edges of the leaves. And this, what will happen then is I'm going to sprinkle it with glitter, and then it will go on to the glue gel plus the bits that I've just done, so it will look like it was meant to be like that all the time. Okay, so then I'm just going to grab my little pot, and the one thing I don't have is a spoon, believe it or not, at the moment. So we're just going to sprinkle. Okay, so here's the finished card. I just brushed off the excess glitter, and you can see it just makes it look so pretty and sparkly. I hope you like this card. I'm really pleased with the end result, I have to say. Halfway through, like quite often, I wasn't quite sure what it was going to turn out like, but I'm really pleased with how it has turned out. So I hope you like it. I'd love to hear your comments. Alright, thanks for watching. Bye!